issues that people care about. And I think that's what Betsy's tapping into. If millions more people vote for Joe Biden and he doesn't get into the White House, then it's hard for you to say that, people don't want a Green New Deal, or they don't want affordable health care, or they don't want, all of the issues, $15 minimum wage.
So let's pose a hypothetical here, since that's what we're doing. We haven't seen any votes right yet. Let's say Joe Biden does win by 5 million votes, whatever, more than Hillary Clinton won by 4 years ago, but loses the Electoral College. Do you folks believe that the view of that majority of Americans becomes irrelevant, Betsy? In terms of what actually happens?
It should not become irrelevant. And I think, to Ethan's point, I think we'll be to the president, whoever becomes president, yeah, but at their peril. I mean, I think that's what happened this last race, right? When Donald Trump won, but he lost the popular vote, he did not one thing. A striking thing in this election is he did not one thing to try and go after moderate Democrats or try to appeal to anybody except his base.
Well, here's a question I've never thought about. I hadn't thought about this till this second.
He didn't do one thing, and that's at his peril, because the body politic, the people are really clear, as Ethan said, about health care, about climate, about looking at the income inequality. People are really clear about that, regardless of party.
But let's stop a minute. The Electoral College was designed because there were four fathers and there were no four mothers. There were all four fathers. Did not trust the population to vote intelligently. Right. And it was a way to make sure that if they really took a flyer, they could correct it. So it's an elitist system. It really is. I'm not saying it should be abolished, but it is. And so isn't it the same thing now when the majority of people vote for somebody but lose the electoral vote? It's, well, you people don't know what's best for you. We're here. We're paternalistic. We're going to take care of you. You may want the new Green Deal, but we know it's not good for you, so it's not going to happen. That's what happens.
But that's, as Phil said, that's how our system
is
currently set up.
Love it or leave it.
And the Constitution is a brilliant document because it has a way to be amended. And if what you're saying, Ken, is absolutely correct, where's the constitutional amendment to get rid of the Electoral College?
Well, there's a lot of momentum.
There's a lot of momentum.
Okay, well, there is a huge momentum to get rid of the Electoral College, and there's legislation being proposed, constitutional amendments, and there's a huge political grassroots.
That answers your question.
If you do that, the state of Maine will become irrelevant. Right. All you need to do is go to big cities and big states, and they're going to control the direction.
But doesn't it make sense that the majority rules? I mean, Donald Trump says the victor goes the spoils. Well, who's the victor? The Electoral College winner or the popular vote winner? I mean, what should it be?
The Electoral College winner.
According to the Constitution. And let's not forget.
Let's let Ray chime in here.
The Equal Rights Amendment, an amendment that you'd think that anybody would vote for, never got confirmed by the states. Yep. So I don't trust America to do what's right, amending the Constitution.
So you know best.
Exactly right. Elect me president. Elect Donald Trump president of the Elks Club, and I'll live with it, okay?
Right.
Yeah, see, for me, there is no national popular vote. We have 50 individual state elections as the Constitution designed. And so everybody has one man, one vote within the state. Here in the state of Maine, my vote counts just the same as Ken's. Ken's counts just the same as mine. What happens in California is none of my business. I don't live there. That's the way this was designed. If we want to go to direct democracy, we should abolish the Congress, abolish the presidency, and just have a group of people propose ideas and have the people vote on it. I think that's a very dangerous thing to do. I don't want New York, Houston, Chicago, LA determining what happens in Maine.
Here's a hypothetical. Where we were a moment ago, if Donald Trump had won both the popular vote and the Electoral College 4 years ago, would there have still been the huge anti-Trump outcry there was?
Yes.
I think so, for who he was. But there is something about becoming cynical about our democracy and fueling that emotional fire when he didn't win the popular vote, which meant he didn't speak to the values and the issues that people care about, and went ahead as if what he thought was the majority.
He spoke to the values and issues that a lot of people cared about.
Absolutely, but not the majority.
Well, and remember, we have an example of another president who did it differently, a Republican president who lost the popular vote, who did try to reach out, George Bush Jr.
Yeah.
He did reach out. He didn't perform. And people were not look, there was a lot of anger towards George Bush. There was a lot of anger over that. There was a lot of anger over the war in Iraq, for sure. But he understood compassionate conservatism. I need to try to reach out.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, as Betsy said, never even tried. And I think he fed that fire. That's why we're here tonight. That's why the passion is to get rid of Donald Trump more than any other passion on the ballot tonight. And will that win or not? That's what we'll find out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray.
I just want to make this point about the Electoral College versus the popular vote. Those are two very different races. And Donald Trump is not a political ideologue. I think you would all agree with that. He's not an ideologue. So a guy like me is an ideologue. So I would try to corner the market on people who agree with me. Donald Trump focused on the people that would vote for him. He didn't try to reach out. I agree with that. I talked a lot about this on my show, that I thought there were times where he could have reached out and maybe mended some fences. But the Electoral College is a very, very different kind of race. And, you know, did he spend any time in New York? Did he spend any time in Illinois? Did he spend any real time in California? No, because there was no point.
And at the same time, Hillary Clinton went to Arizona the last few days instead of going to Wisconsin and Michigan, which she should have campaigned. That was a bad campaign strategy.
Well, she misread the stakes.
Exactly right.
And we talked during our last segment about Biden being more popular generally among Democrats than Hillary Clinton. Does that make a difference in, I mean, obviously it might make a difference with how many votes he gets.
I don't think Biden's not more popular with Democrats. He'll get the same percentage of Democrats that Hillary got. It was more independents that Hillary was not able to keep home that ended up not voting. They weren't Trump supporters, but they
anecdotally.
And he's not fighting the sexism.
And
right? Let's
and
just
he's
face
not
it.
fighting.
And
I mean, we still have serious sexism in this country, and Joe Biden is not fighting it. Hillary Clinton fought it every step of the way.
And that's critical, because Hillary Clinton lost primarily because she was a woman. I absolutely believe that to the core of my being. You've got things about Joe Biden which were just as bad as what they said about Hillary Clinton. There's really not much difference. She was more moderate, more of a hawk than Joe Biden ever pretended to be, and yet she lost. It was sexism pure. And now we didn't mention Kamala Harris, who could be the first woman president.
Vice president.
Could be in the first term if Joe Biden's health theory
And do you generally consider her a progressive?
I don't. I think she's a moderate. She's more progressive than Joe Biden. But I think when you get it, look, when Barack Obama got elected, he changed. He became somewhat of a hawk in foreign policy. Becoming president changes